Hi guys, this is Don Zizi from Allnaijabeats again, and I'm here with another video. I'm going to discuss a bit about how to get that fat, deep bass that you hear in most Afrobeat songs and Afropop songs. I've got a lot of questions from my subscribers, people asking me, how does Wizkid get that very deep bass in Show Me the Money? How do these pro mix engineers get their very deep bass? Are they using some sort of hardware? Is it a style of mixing? Well, I'm here to tell you today that there is no rocket science about getting deep bass in your tracks. You just need to understand the principles of equalization, compression, frequencies, and the more you understand those things, the more you can really, really tweak whatever plugins you have to achieve that deep bass sound. So what I'm going to show you is two different mix chains that I use to get very deep bass. I'm going to use two default bass sounds that come with FL Studio so that you don't say, oh, it's this plugin that's making the bass very fat. No, you can get fat bass with basically anything, even a sine wave generator. So what I have here is it's a basic loop on FL Studio, a basic Afrobeat loop. This is real raw Afrobeat, Fela style. So this is the loop itself. I got some guitars. So now I've got my bass, but I'm just gonna load it afresh so you can see. I use Harmless, which is a pretty decent plugin from ImageLine and ships with FL Studio. Now in Harmless, you just select the just the sub. That's the name of under basses. You have just the sub. Now when you select that, this is how it sounds. So I just played a little simple progression. You can hear it. Okay, now so this bass doesn't really sound bad, but most of you would say, well, it doesn't sound as professional and deep and fat as what I hear on radio. No problem, we're getting there. So first thing I want to do is to solo the bass so I can really hear it. Now you have an equalizer here, so you just want to push up the first band a bit. I don't know if you can hear a difference, but I can hear a big difference, okay? It's already fatter, it's already sort of got those deep frequencies. Now be very careful with this, too much of it and you're going to have your whole mix sounding very, very muddy. So you got to be careful with the amount of low end that you're adding to your bass. One other thing you want to do, this is very important, if you want your bass to be heard on phone speakers, on really small speakers, TV speakers, then you need to add some extra harmonies. So this is what we're going to do. Let me put a lot of it first. That's how it sounds. So of course we'll just put a little bit of it. So already you can hear that from the plugin, the bass sounds different. But of course we're not done, We're not done. We still want to work on the mixer. So the first thing I got here is an E-graphic equalizer. This is a very basic EQ. Sometimes I think it sounds harsh, but just for demonstration, I'm going to use it. So what I've done to this EQ is I've just boosted a bit of the 63 hertz band, and then done a sort of a high shelving and then brought it down. So this is what it sounds like with the EQ added. Without. course, one of my favorite compressors, my Tube Tech. So now it sounds a bit different. What I have done here is to give it a fairly moderate ratio, moderate attack, kind of short release, and then I've done some makeup gain. You see there's some heavy compression going on the bass. You don't always have to compress your bass this much, but I did that because I wanted it to be more defined and to sound tighter, you know, in the mix. So you can see quite some gain reduction between say 5 and 7 decibels of gain reduction going on here. This is how it sounds with the beat. The final thing I've done here is to add a saturator from Brainworks. This is, I just use, you need to be careful with this. I just use the gentle saturation. You could try the crunchy one, but you can hear it's really harsh. So just gentle saturation, you know, and this is how it sounds. You might want to bring the volume of the bass down a bit, okay, to balance up. Great, so that's the first method you can use to make your bass fat. Like I always tell you in my videos, there are so many ways of doing things. These are just 2 quick ways I just came up with for this video, but I have so many other ways to make my bass fat. Now, so I'm just going to mute this because some people say, okay, what if I use Boo Bass? Boo Bass is like the basic bass that comes with FL Studio. No problem. Now this is, I'm just going to load Boo Bass afresh. This is Boo Bass. Sounds really funny. Yeah, it's really kind of weak and with lots of mids and highs. So this is what we're going to do on the plugin. Boost the bass, I cut out all the mids, I cut out all the treble. Don't worry about harmonics, we'll bring them in later. So it already sounds better. Okay, so now we're going to our mixer. We're going to isolate the Boo Bass. First thing I do here is to add Fruity Blood Overdrive. This is a very simple plugin that comes bundled with FL Studio, and what it does is that it's sort of like an amp that adds some crunch or saturation to your signal. So I've done a bit of boosting of the preamp. Of course, this is where you want to add your gain. So you can hear already there's a big difference. It's more aggressive, more in your face. Next thing I do is to add an EQ. And what I'm doing here is not different from what I did with the other EQ. Just look for the right frequency in the low end, boost it a bit, and then do some high shelving. There is a lot more you could do. You could decide to look for mod somewhere between 200 to 500. Just listen. So when you want to do in-depth mixing, you can really spend time to really get that fixed. It's not a problem. So next thing I do is add a compressor, the basic compressor that comes with FL Studio. What I've done is to select the vintage mix preset and then tweaked it to my taste. So you probably want to cut down on the gain. Also make sure the attack is a bit free, okay, so that you don't have clipping. Moderately short release should be fine. Next, I finally I add the Magic plugin. Of course, you know Boo Bass doesn't have as much bass as the one in Harmless, which we just demonstrated. So normally you would want to add something like R bass, which adds both upper and lower harmonics to your basic signal. And what I've done here is I have selected the 60 Hz frequency band because that's where I really want to add. I've turned down the intensity. Okay, so this is what it sounds like. Yeah, this is mad. Without, with. Yeah, it's bigger, it's fatter, it's more in your face, it's richer. Of course, you also want to balance the volume. So these are two quick ways you can use to boost your bass. Don't let anybody tell you that the professional, so-called professional guys are using special hardware, special plugins. Not true. All they are using is their ears. They have very good ears and they are able to pick out the sounds that they want to make an impact in their mixes. If you love this video, as usual, give us a shout on allnaijabeats@gmail.com, on Facebook, on Twitter. We're always available, ready to talk to you. If you need custom beats, if you need support, if you need online tutorials, we are always here to support you. Thank you for watching the video and see you next time. Bye bye.